Well, I think looking back on last week, obviously a lot of credit to Central Florida. I thought Coach Frost and his team played really, really well, and really got off to a hot start against us, down 25-7. Proud of our team's resiliency to come back and fight back and scratch and claw and really eliminate the things that have caused us to get in that hole, which were mainly penalties and just big plays. Proud of our defense. I thought they kept us in it in the second half, and then obviously PJ and the guys on offense went down and made the play they needed to make to win the game. So as we move forward, looking forward to playing the first place team in the East in South Florida, a team with tremendous talent, a great head coach in Willie Taggart, who's done a great job not only as the head coach but also as offensively with what they do, and a bunch of really talented kids on offense. Quentin Flowers, Marlon Mack, Adams, all those guys. Offensive line, they're really well coached up front. And then, defensively, Augie Sanchez, tremendous D-line, great secondary. So we played them last year. We lost to them last year. We know how good they are, and we're just hopeful that we can eliminate some of the mistakes we made last week and make this a really good football game.
We'll take questions for Coach Matt Rhule. Please star 1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
We'll take a question from Sean Pastor with Owls Daily.
Hi, Matt. How's it going?
Hey, Sean. How you doing, buddy?
All right. Hey, so I was curious about first about the safety position. I wanted to know if Nate Smith, if his status for this week is a question at this point, or?
Yeah, I think
I don't think.
I'd say Nate's. I'd say just to answer your question, Nate's questionable at best. Champ's still out, and Nate, I would say right now he's questionable. So we went with Jaquise Thomas, and obviously we have Kyrie Lucas and Benny Walls to go along with Delvon. So Delvon's been playing the whole game. Fortunately, we only played 58 plays on defense last week, but it would be right now it would be a mixture of those other guys unless Nate's able to go.
Okay, yeah. So my second thing was Jaquise played basically the whole second half. I wondered how he kind of ultimately when you looked at how he played in that game, how did he perform in that half?
He did some good things. He made some mistakes that we were fortunate weren't able to didn't kill us. But I think he got better as the game went on and made a couple of big plays down the stretch. But he you could tell he was a little bit rusty. Hadn't played a ton, and have to really kind of get locked in as a starting safety this week to be ready to go and play this game.
Okay, and then on the other side of the ball, you changed things around a little bit on the offensive line. Jalen Robinson has been playing somewhat at tackle. I was kind of surprised there. Had he shown you so much that you said let's give him some work at guard and we got to get him on the field?
Yes. Yep. He's playing really well. So he got beat one snap by Pittman, who's just a tremendous football player. But even when he went out there, I was really pleased with the way he played. So. We just feel like he's the guy that we have to get in the field a little bit more.
Okay, and he has the build of more like a tackle. Was that an easy transition that he's been able to make in terms of moving? He's one of those tall, big guys you typically see as a tackle.
Yeah, it's been no problem. Dion played guard as a freshman, and Leon played guard last year. Lofton played guard. Jalen's really kind of coming on, and he's probably the best athlete of any of those guys out there.
So. Okay, thanks.
We will now go to Joey Knight with the Tampa Bay Times.
Matt, you've seen obviously a lot of very talented dual threat quarterbacks around the country. At this stage, is Quentin Flowers, in your opinion, as good as any of them?
I think Quentin Flowers is a great player, a great competitor, and an even better leader. I harken back to last year when, they beat us and we were ranked, and they came out and I showed Coach Taggart's hand, and the fans stormed the field, and the kids were all in the middle celebrating as they should. And as I was walking down to the tunnel, things that stuck out to me was there was Marlon Mack, there was Quentin Flowers down there shaking our players' hands. And that's when I knew, okay, these guys are for real. In a moment when they could be out there celebrating, they were just being grown men and leaders and winners and champions, really. And that's why, I said this guy's special. So I think Quentin's really, really special and one of the best players I've ever had to coach against.
Matt, have you had a chance yet to see the tape of the UConn game against USF?
Oh, absolutely, yes, sir.
That first half touchdown Quentin ran for about 50 yards. Is that something where you just say, hey, that's some things you can't coach?
Yeah, he's just tremendously talented, an amazing change of direction, and I think tremendous competitiveness. And the thing I'll say is, I think as an offensive staff, they put him in, they put you in real conflict. It's not like so he's just out there kind of with not a great plan. There's a great plan in place with them, where you're having to defend multiple guys touching the ball on any one play. So it's a great bunch of players, but it's also a really difficult scheme to go against.
Thanks, Matt.
We'll now go to Mark Narducci with the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Matt, do you? I would think that at this point in the year, you discourage all talk of bowls and stuff like that with your teams. I would assume that's not even mentioned right now at this point, or is it talked about?
I don't really control what they say. I don't talk about it. I think matter of factly, I'll tell them, get the 6 wins, you go to a bowl probably. If this is what it takes to win the conference, and then after that, all those numbers start with, 1 win. So if we're fortunate to get the 6 wins, I'll say, I guess, congratulations, we're bowl eligible, and move forward. But I don't really spend a lot of time, on it until those times come.
One other thing, you're in a rare situation of kind of being the underdog here in this game. Last year you went through so many games where you were kind of the favorite. Do you enjoy that role, and do you use it at all as any kind of motivation?
Well, I think we've been the underdog the last couple games. The one thing I've learned is, it just comes down to how we play. We can't control how well the other team plays, but to give you an idea, like last game, versus a really good UCF offense, we had played 58 plays, 54 plays. We gave up 104 yards. That's unbelievable defense. And then in 4 plays, we gave up 194. So it's, my job, Phil's job, and our job is to try to eliminate the 4 bad plays. And none of that has to do with the score, anything else. So, if we're favored in ranks, we're just trying to control us and how we play and what we do, and trying to get our team to focus even better and play even better. And, that's all I can really coach.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We'll go to Donald Hunt with the Philadelphia Tribune.
Matt, how you doing?
Great, Donald. How are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, Matt, can you talk about that last drive that PJ engineered with 30 seconds left, 70 yards, and that was pretty impressive. And I'd like to get your thoughts on that, because he made a lot of big passes and also got some help from receivers.
Yeah, and I thought first of all, PJ, there was pressure on him, in terms of some pass rush. He just sidestepped in the pocket. He made all the throws that you dream of making. And I thought Ventel came up huge, obviously catching the first 3 balls. Just big time catches across the middle. And then, we get the ball down to the 10-yard line, and Ventel gets a little bit banged up, and he really could have laid there, and the game would have been over. It would have been a 10-second runoff. But Adonis Jennings runs over, picks him up, says, get lined up. And instead of spiking it, we called for a play to go in the end zone, and really we misblocked it. They came free off the edge and hit PJ, but he just made a great throw, and Kirkwood made a great catch. So I just think a lot of guys show what they're capable of in that moment. And sometimes, you need to be at your best when your best is required. It certainly was there, and PJ was at his best, and Ventel was at his best, and so was Kirkwood, and so were some of the guys on the line, and Jihad blocking. It was everything kind of came together just when we needed it.
Yeah. And, Matt, can you talk a little bit about Hassan? It looked like he was just all over the field making plays for you. And, tackles for loss, tackles beyond the line of scrimmage. He was really terrific, and I'd like to get your thoughts on his play.
I said it the week before, and this week was even better. It was as well played a game on defense as I've ever been around. And even the stat sheet doesn't do him justice. He had 2 or 3 other sacks that the guy spun out, and then someone else sacked him. I thought he was a disruptive force. And, the game ended appropriately with him making the tackle on the kickoff. It was just a dominant effort by just a kid that's just really blossomed, and I'm really proud of him. More importantly, I'm proud of him as a person, but also as a player. He's really, really, really come into his own this year.
Okay. All right, Matt. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Sir, thank you.
We'll now go to Leo Haggerty with It's Sports Magazine.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. Coach, because USF is so up-tempo, their defense is on the field a lot, and it has given up big plays. Can you work to your advantage by wearing them down late in the game?
Just in terms of us, our philosophy, when we're at our best, we're trying to get games to the fourth quarter, have it be close, and hope that we can win the game in the fourth. We faced a couple up-tempo offenses the last couple weeks, and we just try to make sure that we're running the ball enough to give our defense, a break. We get in those games, we're not going to up-tempo the up-tempo teams, so we try to run the ball and slow the game down and hope to get the game to the fourth quarter, and that's really our best shot to win versus these types of offenses.
Coach, you dug a big hole at UCF Saturday. You managed to crawl out of it. How much does that help the Owls, knowing that you can come all the way back and win?
Well, I think it's, as I told them, it's a lesson in football. It's a lesson in life. The game's never over till it's over. I mean, the week before we were up with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. We're up 13. We're up 13-6. We give up 20 or 13-3, whatever it was. We give up 27 unanswered at some point in that game, and for us to crawl back from 25-7. That was real growth for the program, I think, and real growth for these kids. And hopefully now they understand whether we're up or we're down, you just keep playing, as hard as you can till the end of the game, and things work out more often than not.
Coach, last question, and thank you for your time. Last year, it looked like the biggest problem you had was matching up with the speed that USF had. And Coach Taggart said, watching you on film, he seems that you've gotten faster. Is that how you plan on trying to deal with their speed this week?
Well, I think we are probably a faster defense than last year. I think last year in that game, I really believe that the game was one up front for them as well. I mean, they thought, their offensive line really handled our defensive line. So, runs that usually go for 2, 3, 4 against us went for 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you start trying to overcompensate, and that's when the great athletes get on the perimeter. So, to me, as with any football game, you have to win the game up front. You have to be able to handle the speed on the perimeter and just try to limit the big plays. Last year they did all of those against us, and they've done it against everybody this year. They're really, really a great, great college football offense. They're really fun to watch. So we're just going to have to hang in there and do the best we can against them.
Coach, and from someone who played on the last football team at Drexel University, good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Time for one more for Coach Rhule, please.
All right, we'll take one from Dan Tortora with wakeupcalldt.com.
Good afternoon, Coach. How are you?
Dan.
To just discuss, I know you talked about PJ a little bit earlier here, but to discuss his evolution as a quarterback and just what he's meant to this team and what you kind of saw in the beginning to what you see right now.
Well, I've always said about him, he's a winner. He'll do whatever it takes to win, and he doesn't worry about the pressure and what if I mess up, what if this? He just goes out there and does everything it takes to win, and that's why he's so beloved by his teammates, and that's what he did at the end of that game. He just did whatever it took to win, and at the end of the day, that's really quarterbacks come in all shapes and sizes, but at the end of the day, they're marked by their wins and losses, and I think PJ just tries everything he can to help us win.
And then as far as South Florida and going into this game, I know you spoke a little bit about the matchup, but just what they've been able to do. They're 3-0, and you're obviously 2-1 in the conference right now. It will flip-flop you with South Florida immediately and put you in first place of the East if the victory comes. So just what you can say about the anticipation for this game and the team on the other side.
Well, I mean, for me, I love having a chance to play against great football teams. The USF is a great football team. Whatever it is, NCAA streak, right? Scoring 35 points, 11 straight games, running for 200 yards, 12 straight games. I mean, they're just a great, great football team. And so I think anytime you have a chance to play against somebody great, you hope it brings out the greatness in you, and you're excited about it, and you appreciate it, and you want to do it. So I'm excited just to play against these guys. They're such good players, such good coaches, and the conference standings, and those things will flip up and down. I'm not, I don't get caught up in that as much as I get caught up in making sure our guys play really, really well against a great football team.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Coach, we